Welcome to The Real Generation Gap. I'm Rudy Ruiz.
I'm Fred Satilli.
And today we're going to discuss the 2001 film K-PAX, starring Kevin Spacey and Jeff Bridges. Hit us with it, Fred. This was your pick.
Yes, it was. And usually you do these fantastic intros, and you know what it is. He's flying on one wing. Rudy does a lot of work. He's one of these 7 days a week, 24 hours, and so okay. Well, yeah, I picked this movie because it's very, very unique. And in studying the movie, I found out that there was a plagiarism suit that somebody in Argentina said that he had copied their film, and this was based on a book which was a 1995, which is just 6 years before the movie. This guy Gene Brewer wrote this book, and they immediately made it into a movie, and it's because it was that good. Now, Kevin Spacey appears in Manhattan, and he's in Port Authority. He just appears, and there's like a homeless guy who goes like, "That guy just appeared," you know. They disregard him, but the police come, and he doesn't have an identity, so they take him to the Insanity Institute. You know, they take him, and he says, "I'm an alien. I'm from a planet K-PAX, it's called, and his name is Prot. And he has no other name. He says, I'm Prot. I came from K-PAX, and I've been here before many times. And in fact, he goes, your produce alone is worth the trip. Like he's eating apples and bananas and stuff all through. And he says, I'm just here on a visit. I'm going to be leaving on a certain day. I think it's July 27th. Yeah. And they say, well, we're going to keep you for observation. We're trying to figure out who you are. So he goes into the institute, and there's a whole bunch of people there who have mental and emotional problems. And he connects with them all right away, and they like him and they accept who he is. You know, they don't contest who he is, but he's under the care of the doctor who's Jeff Bridges, and Jeff Bridges is trying to find out who he really is and find out why he's traumatized. So the interesting thing that happens is he takes the body of a human being who actually was traumatized. And so they sort of figure out who the body is, and they figure out the trauma of the body, but it's not Prot. He's just inhabiting the body. When he goes back to his own planet, he leaves the body, and the guy is, you know, just on the floor in a fetal position, like he's still traumatized because now he's him again, you know. So it's really interesting what he does while he's there. Now, all these people in the asylum, he begins to treat them in his own way. He respects them, and he's able to communicate with them. So he's making people better. There's a woman who never leaves her room. Now she's out. She's out with the population, making jokes at people and stuff. He animates her, right? And there's one woman who just looks out the window, and he says, when I return to K-PAX, he says, I can only take one of you with me. So at one point, they all write a thing why they should be the one. That he could review them. They all want to go, and they realize that he can only take one. And they don't hold it against him. They're not angry that he didn't pick them or anything. It's like, son of a gun. And the one that he does pick, they're happy for her. Oh my God, he took best. That's so great. Yeah, good for her. You know, she's going to do better and be happy and all that. And Jeff Bridges, he's a rational scientist. He's a doctor. And he's trying to make sense of this whole thing. Everybody else has no problem making sense of it. But he realizes this couldn't possibly be. But at the end, when he does disappear, leaving the body behind, the living body of that he inhabited, the traumatized guy, he's like forced to now look at his own life. You know, and he has an estranged son. And this experience makes him want to rekindle the relationship with his estranged son. So even he is cured. His problem that he's like, look, I paid for his education. He doesn't want to talk to me. You know, he's a psychiatrist who can't make the connection with his own, his estranged son from a former marriage. So, you know, I mean, the Mary McCormick is so beautiful. And Mary McCormick is his wife, and she's got to see all this happen, right? So she's got to make sense of it too. her husband is obsessed with this guy who's nuts, right? And they try things like regression hypnosis. They're going to hypnotize him. But the problem is they hypnotize the traumatized guy, not Prot.
Right.
So the traumatized guy is like, this is what happened when I was a kid, and this was horrible. And so for Jeff Bridges, he's like, well, now we know what traumatized. We see him in the high school yearbook. That's him, the picture.
Yeah.
And he had this tragedy with his friend, but Prot didn't. You know, so there's this real duality that goes on throughout, and it's really an exceptional story. You haven't not seen it before. How did you like the story?
Yeah, I thought it was all right. I did kind of like the mystery of following Jeff Bridges, trying to get down to the bottom of this, and like, is he really who he says he is, or is he going to uncover that it's just another guy and this and that? And I liked that whole aspect of it. I thought Kevin Spacey's performance was excellent as always. He was always good in everything he was doing. Just like the small mannerisms of the way the sunglasses and the way he moves his head, or will like peek around a corner and stuff. You know what I mean? The kind of like discovery. You know, he's good at playing like of playing that. Like he's not. Like he's seeing he's seeing things for the first time, you know?
Yeah, he really was the alien.
Yeah, he portrayed that really well. Yeah, I mean, I got really interested in like, all right, yeah, how are we going to get to the end here? It's like, and when Jeff Bridges starts uncovering it, you know, and finds out like, all right, here's the town, I'm going to go visit it and this and that. And I like that. And I was like, man, I hope we don't just kind of find out that it is just a normal guy. You know, I wanted it to be the alien thing, as it turned out to be. And yeah, I mean, I liked his dynamic with all the patients, like you said, kind of talking to them, putting them on tasks. You know what I mean?
The bluebird scene.
Yeah,
the bluebird scene is so great.
Yeah,
you're going to be okay when you see the bluebird.
Yeah,
and then the guy he tells that to sees a blue jay, and when he goes, bluebird, everybody in the whole place comes to the windows, and now they're all better.
Yeah, right.
They're like, that's it, the bluebird. We were promised when we would see the bluebird, it's like hypnosis. We would be okay, right? And now we're better.
Yeah.
We're better.
Yeah.
You know, and you know what was really cool like that? When Prot left the body, exactly when he said he would, and took Bess with him, she was gone now. There was a person missing. And the only explanation was he took her. They all knew this.
Yeah.
But when they saw the remaining body, they all went, that's not Prot.
That's not him.
That's not, we don't know him.
Yeah.
We never seen this guy before. Really cool. Really cool. That was a nice subtle nuance that they didn't have to have, but they did include it. And I thought that was great. So, as I've said to you other times, this is not a cameraman's movie, really.
I mean, you know, I like the way it was shot, and I like that they had this, you know, getting into the camera stuff, they had this interesting motif, especially when they're in Jeff Bridges' office and he's thinking about things, or just throughout, of really leaning into lens flares, like letting the lens flare, and they'll shoot light through that little glass, like, trophy he had.
Was cool, yeah.
So you always get the
spectrum.
Refraction and all that on him, So they made it a point to do that, because the idea of the explanation of, you know, traveling through light or whatever it was, which I thought was funny watching this in Event Horizon back to back. When I got to Event Horizon, I was like, or when I got to
another
this,
high-speed light thing.
I'm like, is it going to be literally the same exact like he folds the paper in half or something? Luckily, it wasn't exactly the same, but I just thought that was funny. But yeah, so I like that. I mean, yeah, it's not like groundbreaking camera work, but you know, they added a cool motif to kind of keep that idea going, you know, this light, this travel, and the flares and all that, and something out of this world,
glad you
know?
Noticed that. Yeah, right.
I love that. It's very simple, you know.
They did take Jeff Bridges a little bit off the planet with that.
Yeah.
That was really a cool nuance. I'm glad you said that, because my point was going to be, this is a real writer's story. Like, there was excellent writing.
Yeah.
The story itself was really great. And another thing, another moment in the movie that was sensational was, he says he's a very advanced alien, much more mentally advanced than we are. And he had made some comments about outer space, and Jeff Bridges had a friend who was an astrophysicist.
Yeah.
And he said, well, I'm going to put you with this guy and you'll bust him or whatever. But when Prot, Kevin Spacey, he goes into a planetarium with a handful of astrophysicists, and he says, well, my planet is here. Now, we have 2 suns. And it was interesting that on his planet, the light was always like twilight.
Right.
He was light sensitive, right? And they confirmed this medically, you know. And they said, well, if your planet orbited 2 suns, it's not like how we have it where it's just, you know, around and around, right? It's going to be some kind of gravitational thing. They said, would you like to show us your gravitational? And he makes this incredibly complex diagram of the way the planet moves, considering 2 different gravitational bodies. And he says, this is it. And they said, you sure? He goes, yeah, I think it's accurate. And then they use a computer to figure out what would happen with that amount of mass and those things.
Right.
I mean, they're looking at this thing is 1,000 light years away, right? And they said, how could you possibly know this? And he said, well,
common knowledge.
Yeah, it's every kid knows about you're orbiting the sun, and we are, we know this. And, you know, he doesn't make a big deal out of it or anything. And that's a really cool moment. That's one of those, like, all those scientists are like.
Yeah, I did like that. You know, when Jeff Bridges first brings it up to his brother-in-law about how, you know, he's saying all these things. Is there any validity to that? And when he's like, well, there's like 3 people on Earth that are aware of it. Like, this isn't even, it's not something that's published. So how could he know that?
He couldn't have read it.
Yeah, like it's not out in the open. And yeah, I like that scene too. And just the design of it, I kind of like he's drawing on the whatever little board they have, and it's showing up in their whatever.
Yeah, on the computer monitor.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Well done. Yeah, the movie did have me nervous at points. And like anytime there's a movie set with like some characters in a place like that, and especially when you have like the head person's telling Jeff Britt, no, we got to send him to the 4th floor and drug him up and this and that. And so, you know,
Alfre Woodard was.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Yeah. And that stuff always worries me in these kinds of movies.
You're too close to the client.
Right.
You know, it's like.
And and now you know you have that kind of ticking clock too. And anytime they get riled up, I'm like, oh shoot,
when
like
is the straitjacket coming?
Yeah, what's going to happen?
When are they going to restrain him?
Yeah, like someone's going to end up getting.
He's completely harmless.
Yeah,
he doesn't need any restraint. He sits there.
Like the character, I think his name was Howie, who, man, I forgot the actor's name, but I've never seen this. He's a character actor. I've never seen him portray anything like this, so I thought that was interesting. He's the guy in the Warriors come out and play. It's that guy. Yeah. That guy is Howie.
The guy with the bottles?
Yeah.
He's the guy with the bottles.
So he's in this. So he's the one, you know, there's the dude that I think his name was Ernie, was like the germaphobe guy.
Right.
And then Howie, the Warriors guy, like strangles him at one point. But luckily he's like, no, I'm cured. Like he did it. Like I'm fine. I feel good. I want to pursue, you know, maybe being a doctor and helping people too. And when that happened, I thought for sure the Warriors guy was going to get wrecked, you know, and like Jack Nicholson in the
Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah, in Cuckoo's Nest, right? Like something like that. And that would be a big kind of turning point in the movie. So I get nervous about that stuff. Luckily it didn't play out that way, but that was an interesting, I don't know, that stuff just kind of weirds me out and is unfortunate. So I have that in my mind.
There was nothing Cuckoo's Nest about this.
Yeah, no, not at all. But yeah, that was just something I had to add to made it gave it a little extra tension for me. Was, you know, when are things going to go bad, like really bad, and never quite happens that way.
I love it when they say, well, you know, did you go faster than light? And he said, well, obviously it's 1,000 light years. It would have taken me 1,000 years to get here. Like he's like, doctor, you're so, you know. The line I like the most, he goes, you know, for a doctor, you repeat yourself a lot. Do you realize that? Do you know you're doing it again? He sees that flaw in him. So I really loved this movie when it came out. And I really wanted you to see it, but more than you, I wanted all of you to see it. You know, I really promote this as a great piece of writing, good acting by Kevin Spacey, good acting by Jeff Bridges. You know, he was really the conflicted psychiatrist. Yeah, because he's like, this would happen in a religious. You imagine if you met Jesus, be like, all right, well, obviously you're not Jesus, but
Right.
you know, like you start doing things that are miraculous or something. After a while, you doubt your science.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like what's the movie we did, The Man from Earth, when he keeps giving them
more and
some
more
answers, and you're like, oh man, it's all coming together.
Yeah, and even the Hitler movie, I don't think you
that
did that
one I
with
didn't
me.
see. Yeah,
you didn't do that. Was the guy who was
BJ.
Hitler.
That was
yeah,
BJ.
Yeah, look who's back.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
The guy comes, he says he's Hitler, and little by little, it's
Right.
like, you know what? I think this guy's actually
Yeah.
Hitler. And Jeff
Right.
Bridges was like, I really don't know if this guy's telling the truth or not. He goes, I'm going to fall back on my science. I'm going to fall back on what's rational for me. But man, and at the end, when he does, the cool part was at one point he says, I'm going to go to Greenland and Iceland, for a couple of days. I'll be gone. And then they're like, where is he? And everybody in the room's like, he went to Greenland and Iceland. And he's like,
Yeah.
he's missing. We got to find him. And then when he comes back, it's like, where were you? He goes, Greenland.
Yeah.
Had to go there before I make my report. Report? Is like, yeah, I'm visiting. I have to file a report when I get back. and I love it when he says, I can come and go here easily because nobody else here is moving at that speed. But when I go home, it's got to be at an exact time. Because it's an air traffic control issue, right? Like people are going faster than light. Like, I got to go at this date and time. And then I loved it because this happens to me almost every night. At the exact date and time when he has to beam back to the planet, Jeff Bridges is staying up all night, but it's 5:51. He sleeps through it.
Sleeps in.
He sleeps. I've slept through so many finishes of movies. He's, oh my God.
Yeah.
And they go in the room and the body is laying there quivering and everybody's like, he's gone. Took Bess with him. Who would have guessed?
Right.
And so he's left with that. He's left with that, like, what happened here? You're a man of science, and your science doesn't explain this.
Yeah.
All the hypnosis and everything, inconclusive. You got a problem. And then, as I said, I really, really, in a personal way, loved it that this experience made him want to have a relationship with the estranged son.
Yeah.
That was a very surprising ending for me, that he somehow came to the conclusion that, that should be, and everything. It was very touching for me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, very surprising that his son was played by Aaron Paul, Jesse Pinkman himself from Breaking Bad. I was like, oh, there he is.
I did not realize that.
Yeah.
And I loved Breaking Bad.
Yep.
I mean, next to The Sopranos, that's the one,
Yep, that was him.
So I really appreciate anybody who sees this review and goes on to watch the movie. It's why I asked Rudy to watch it with me, and I'm glad you liked it as much as you did, and I think it's really worthwhile for people to see this, and it should be perpetuated. It's certainly not one of the top 10 or anything like that, but it stands on its own. The acting jobs are good. The writing is good. Rudy liked the bleeding camera thing? What was
No, just the lens flares. I mean, I
the
like more
lens
than that. I was
flares,
just pointing it out.
really cool stuff. Thanks again. We'll see you in the next review.